There are some people in the world who have chosen to design their own housing, not because there is no choice, but rather because they are looking for atypical and unusual houses. Do you know the proverb that says, "Everyone to his one taste"? And that is precisely why the 7 people you are going to see today have chosen slums, garages and other very poorly kept places to turn them into real masterpieces. We promise you that at the end of the video, you'll have a furious desire to move. Unbelievable. Let's go. Watch out. What will come next will prove to you that there are no limits to creativity, since the house you are going to see today has once carried tons and tons of cans, and has been around the world 10 times. Don't you see the connection? We'll explain it to you. Killian Chastel, a French genius, has built near Dinan, in the Côtes d'Armor region of France, an atypical house with contemporary finishes from containers, yes, these gigantic iron boxes that transport goods. This project came naturally to him because he didn't want an ordinary house made of stone or cinder block, and since then the idea hasn't left him. He then began to build his house with his own hands without the help of building professionals. He started by buying 6 containers on the ports of Saint-Nazaire and Le Havre for €7,500, and he put them together to make a magnificent house of about 147 square meters. Then he positioned them as follows. 4 on the ground floor and 2 on the first floor. He cut and welded them to proceed then to the insulation, fitting out, installation of pipes and electricity, and finally to the decoration. The house finally took shape after a year and a half of hard work, during which he worked hard day and night. For this great construction enthusiast, this house with its atypical charm is a great source of pride. It is south-facing and the sun beats against its bay windows, which makes life inside pleasant. A sun that the house knows well since its walls are witness to great journeys around the world. No doubt a way to feel a little bit everywhere, while staying at home. Remember that Killian is not a building professional, but after all, practice does make perfect. There's only one architect to make this marvel. It's hard to believe this house is real, and yet it is. It was gray, austere and lifeless before Ricardo Bofill put his touch to it. Colors, greenery, light and above all lots of love. He created his house out of a huge abandoned cement factory, a remnant of a polluting industry. Built on the outskirts of Barcelona in Spain during the First World War, this cement factory was once one of the jewels of the Catalan industry before being left in ruins. In 1973, Ricardo Bofill discovered it and immediately decided to buy it. This heap of ruins gave rise to a cascade of ideas to transform the cold concrete into a sumptuous modern fortress, where the habitat is warm and pleasant. After partially demolishing it, Ricardo renovated it and fitted it out with everything that had a modern stamp, while letting nature do its work outside. In the house, no room is like another. It is a closed universe that combines well-being, romanticism, and the spirit of work. There are no more words to describe it, just contemplate this exceptional architectural marvel. With this incredible construction site, Ricardo Bofill has proven to us that there is no such thing as an ugly house, and that you simply have to learn to see things from different angles. It's hard to believe that this dump you see in the pictures will look like this after the renovation, and yet that's what happened. In California in the United States, a real estate developer challenged himself to restore an old dilapidated house on a very tight budget and transform it into a beautiful dream home. Admire the work. The developer, with his great know-how, has seen this 90-year-old ruin as a nugget and has turned it into a real jewel. He first acquired the house for the modest sum of $16,000 and then launched the renovation project. He proceeded with a thorough cleaning, because you may have seen, but fortunately you didn't feel the damage. The walls were worn, the garbage had been sitting there for years, the kitchen was filthy, the living room was filthy, the ceiling was threatening to collapse. In short, it still took them several weeks to clean it all up. Then they began the actual renovations to finally give birth to this sumptuous home. The old slum has become unrecognizable. What was once a filthy living room has become a pleasant, well-decorated, and bright living room. And the disgusting kitchen from earlier, do you remember it? Well, look at what it has become. We don't have a picture of the bathroom before, but between us, we shouldn't have it. Look at the new one, we would spend the night there. And finally, Paris, which was only a dirty space ravaged by vegetation, has become a small paradise. Are we talking about a miracle? In Norfolk in the United Kingdom, Rob Cock, a builder, has restored an old farm shed and transformed it into a sumptuous luxury home worth nearly $1.7 million. The Old Cereal House is how it was named once it became an elegant, atypical, and contemporary dwelling. Looking at the picture before, you would swear that this shed would not accommodate a cow, and yet look what it has become. The house is built on 2 floors. Roby had 4 bright and spacious bedrooms, a fully equipped and modern kitchen, 5 bathrooms, 3 reception rooms, panoramic picture windows, a tastefully made terrace, and even a cinema room. And we were talking about cows earlier. And of course, without forgetting an ultra-modern decoration worthy of a real Californian villa. The result is just breathtaking. I think I should get into cement myself. This house will make you want to go live in nature, a little bit like Tarzan and Jane. It is located in England and it is 250 million years old. Yes, we did say millions, since it is actually a cave. Stunned. Wait, you haven't seen anything yet, it's breathtaking. When Angelo Mastropietrop decided to build the house of his dreams, it was not a New York loft that he thought of, nor a villa on a Greek island, but rather a cave. His story began one day while he was riding his bike with friends and looking for shelter to rest. That's when he fell in love at first sight with what was to become his future home. A few years later, he decided to buy it and to launch a crazy project, that of building his home there. To remain true to the spirit of the cave, he chose natural materials such as stone and wood for his interior design. As for the color of the walls, here again, he kept it simple. He chose white about purity, to attract light and also to give this impression of grandeur. As for the vegetation, he did not touch it, he let nature bring its own little touch. How many hours of work did he put in for all this? 1,000 hours. Nature indeed had a lot to do with it, but he had to change a few details. Nobody wants to live in a garage, right? Well, when you see this one, you'll fight for it. In Toronto, Canada, a couple grabbed 2 abandoned and dilapidated garages, 7 square meters in size. They, who are jewelers by profession, have unearthed the rare pearl and have in fact a real diamond. The garages are very close to their property, and the day they were put up for sale for the price of $50,000, the couple did not hesitate to buy it, thinking of turning it into a small workshop for their jewelry shop. But they didn't count on the help and precious talent of their architect friend Drew Hausa, who was able to transform the slum into a home like no other. Together, they imagined a modern 5-story house that would combine living and working space. They were inspired by the city's modern houses. They gave a soul to what used to be a simple garage that had been abandoned for years. They then embarked on renovation, work, bay windows, modern Georgian bay wooden stairs, marble walls and floors, slate fireplace, a large terrace on the 5th floor with a panoramic view of St. Paul's Basilica, and finally a warm and cozy decor that makes you want to stay there all day. If you were to buy this marvel today, you would have to spend $2,250,000. And yes, living in a garage has become a luxury. So, which of these 10 transformations impressed you the most? I was most impressed by the transformation of the cave into a dream house. Tell us in the comments what you think.